Guess what's here? The Numb and Dumb shirt. I'm so excited for it. I can't wait to get my Numb and Dumb shirt. If you want one too, go to bertbertbert.com and click the shop tab and get yourself a Numb and Dumb shirt, and let's pour a glass of wine, watch some Num 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 TV, and dum it up. What number is this, Halston? Woo! 229. Wife of the party, 229. I'm so excited to have this episode today. It is with Georgia and her friend Daisy, and they worked on the Fully Loaded Comedy Festival, their dad's comedy or Georgia's dad's comedy festival, as PAs. And I was so proud of them. I wanted to see what their experience was like, what they learned, who they liked. We didn't really talk about who they didn't like because that's not cool. But what they learned, what comics they liked, what they thought about the comedy, what they thought about the whole thing. So I think it was a great conversation. It was a long conversation, and it could have kept going. I mean, that's the nice thing about my kids is I seem to be able to have a good conversation with them, which is really cool. And they're friends. So I hope that you enjoy this episode with Daisy and Georgia. Thank you for coming back every week. Thank you for all your emails, your comments. Thank you for your book club suggestions. I read all of them. I don't get to respond to every email, but I do read them. So thank you very much. Please keep them coming. And thank you for purchasing anything that I have as a sponsor for the podcast. I don't have any sponsors this week. So thank you for, in the past, anytime you've gone to a website and put in the Wife of the Party code and purchased. That's really very helpful to me. I appreciate it. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this episode of Wife of the Party with Daisy and Georgia. So I wanted to talk to you guys today about working for your dad, not your dad, but for your dad on this Fully Loaded tour. What was it like?
It was a very, I mean, okay, we definitely had two different experiences.
Yeah.
Because, like, for me, it was just all completely new. I had no idea, like, what it was going to be like at all. I just was like, okay, I'm going to work on this tour. I'm going to be a PA. I'm going to sleep on a tour bus. And that was, like, the extent of everything that I knew. I didn't know, like, which comedians I was going to end up meeting. I didn't know who I was going to be around. I barely knew where we were going.
You have a lot of trust, Daisy. That's a lot of trust in your friend, Georgia.
Yeah. I know, she's like, I'll just get on a bus and see what happens for a week.
Yeah, that's exactly how it was. But it turned out, I mean, for me, it was like a very unique, very new experience.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun for me. I mean, mostly just because it was like definitely things I'd never seen before. It was a work that, like, a type of work I didn't think that I would have now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just, it was interesting. It was new. It was fun. I had a great time.
You did?
Yeah.
Good.
I did.
That's good. What was it like for you, Georgia?
I had a good time, too. It was also very different, though, because, first of all, I've never seen Dad in, like, a workplace like that. Like, I've never seen what he actually does and then what other people do around him.
Uh-huh.
And I've never seen his comedy until then.
Yeah.
So it was the first time I saw his comedy, which I just, like, I had no idea what to expect because, like, you know, people come up to me all the time and are like, oh, he's so funny. It was just not what I was expecting at all. I was like, oh my God, what is this? So I saw his comedy for the first time, and it was weird because half of the people on the tour, like, I've seen at home a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, I've known since I was a baby. So, like, wait, can I, like, say names?
Yeah.
Oh, like, Manzi. Like, I've seen him my entire life, and then I see him, like, in a workplace, or like Stacy, like, I've known her since I was a baby and I hadn't seen her until the tour, and then I was working for her, so it was really weird. It was kind of trippy, and then there were, like, completely new people that I didn't know, or like people whose names I've heard, like, in passing, but I didn't know who they actually were. So that part was kind of weird because, like, either people were really familiar to me or super new, but they all had, like, the same authority over me. So I was like, how do I do this? But honestly, it was really fun. I really liked having something to do all day. Like, I liked being needed all day, and, like, I liked how people, like, trusted us with a lot of responsibility because, like, you don't really get that when you're a teenager. So I really liked that, and I would definitely do it again.
You would?
Yeah.
Would you do it again?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was a fun time. I mean, we were only there for, like, a short stretch of time, but it went by really fast, but at the same time it feels like we were there for so much longer.
Yeah. It was a lot of work. It was like a long day.
Yeah.
It was, and it was hot.
Yeah.
Wasn't it hot?
It was really
Yes.
hot.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's like there was so much going on that it didn't feel like a horrible amount of work. I mean, it's like we were every day we were like going on the health app and checking our steps. I think like Peter had like 40,000 at one point.
Yeah, he
Oh my
did.
God, that was so
It
funny.
was ridiculous. It was
Yes.
so
There was
funny.
like a point in the day where Peter would get delusional, and Daisy and I would just look
Yeah.
at each other and be like, "Oh my God, there he goes!"
He's
Yeah.
losing it. He went past 40,000 guys. Somebody.
Like
Yeah,
every time he hit
seriously, it was
35,000 steps, like it starts going loopy.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Yeah.
like, "Hello, Peter."
But it's like we didn't even realize we were like, I mean, I didn't even realize we were walking around that much until I checked and be like, oh my God.
Yeah, I've been walking a
But
lot.
it was, yeah.
Well, I think you guys did a great job. Everybody I talked to said you guys were great attitude, really hardworking, on time, did what you were asked. That was good. Okay, maybe they fudged the on time. I don't know, based on your reaction.
Dude,
Okay, to be fair.
No,
To
you
be
don't even get to be fair.
No.
They would tell us a certain time to wake up. I would wake up at that time. 2.5 hours later, Daisy would wake
No,
up
okay, listen.
disheveled, and I would be like,
disheveled.
and I would have called her, texted her, physically went back to the bus and shake her awake, and she's like, well, if the DJ doesn't get up, then I don't get
That's
up.
not what happened.
That is what
not
happened. You were like,
No.
well, Carter was still
No,
asleep.
it's
I was
not.
like,
no,
oh
it's
my
not.
God.
I said it made me feel better that Carter was asleep.
I was like, Daisy, there's a difference. Carter like performs. We have to
I
like
know.
lift boxes.
Okay, to be fair, sleeping in that tour bus is like sleeping in a sarcophagus. There's
Yes.
no windows.
No.
I have no idea what time it is. I'm
Right.
already bad at waking up. I would wake up, not even register that I had missed my alarms until like it was too late. So yeah, I mean, like that was not good. That was
Yeah.
it was a little rough. But I mean, I'm glad to hear that it didn't cause too many problems.
It didn't cause any problems. I don't think it.
No,
you know
it
what?
wasn't that deep.
When you weren't there the second week, you were really, really missed because
Really?
everybody kept saying, had no idea. Like we knew they were really helpful and it was really great to have them. But when we don't have them, we're like, oh, wait, I have no one to ask to do this stuff.
Yeah.
Like I have to do all of it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like there were definitely points where we were just kind of sitting and doing nothing, but like those points kind of outweighed like the amount of time we were actually working.
mhm.
So like there would be points where like Amanda or Stacy or Jess wouldn't have a job for us to do, and so we'd just be like sitting there. We watched like baseball for like 30 minutes. And we were like, oh my God,
Yeah,
what's
but
going on?
it was like it was never like there was not ever too much idle time. Like we
Yeah.
weren't sitting there bored. Like there was never a time where I like didn't know what to do with myself type of thing.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it was like it was a hard amount of work, but it was spaced out enough that we had enough time to kind of breathe and like process what was going on too.
Yeah.
That's
So we would like
good.
work hard, and then we'd get like a 30-minute break to just kind of like refresh.
Yeah.
And but like I can totally understand why like not having 2 extra people, because there's
Yeah.
just so much that gets done within
Right.
such a short amount of time. Like watching
Yeah.
Jess and her crew like build the entire stage and then take it down all in one night
Isn't
is
that
just
crazy?
insane.
Yeah.
I was
and
like,
there's so
oh
many
my
little
gosh.
things that you don't expect that make such a huge difference. Like that first show, I think we spent the whole day numbering the chairs.
Oh my
And
God,
it
that was
wasn't-
actually horrible.
Yeah, no, the heat was horrible. We had to be out there like actually suffocating in the humidity. But it's like it wasn't even just numbering the chairs. It was like we spent all morning, you know, like printing out the numbers and cutting them out and laminating them and stuff. And it just, I don't know, it showed me like how many little things really go into making something like that. Because it's like when you imagine how much work it takes to put on a show like that, you don't think like, oh, who was numbering those chairs? But it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, that was like a hard job too. It's just there's so much that goes into it. And like, yeah, there were so many little things that we were doing that I didn't realize were, you know, how important they were.
Right.
Yeah, it made
That's
me
a
more
cool thing to
appreciative.
learn.
Oh, sorry. It made me like a lot more appreciative of like when I go to a concert or I go to like a big event like that, I know now how much work was put into it.
Mhm.
Especially because like to be fair, there weren't very many people working on it. Like on the buses, there were not very many people. So
No.
like it makes you a lot more appreciative for like, wow, I'm sitting in a chair with a number on it in like
Yeah.
100-degree heat. This is
Yeah.
amazing. How did I get here?
Yeah,
And we put you there.
Huh.
That
we
was
did
us.
it. That was us.
Now, do you think it will affect how you, like, because I've worked a lot of lackey jobs. I've been a waitress. I've been, drove a tow truck. I've sold wedding gowns. I worked in a bank. I sold Avon. I've done all kinds of jobs. And it made me look at every person in every job and say, that job is hard. I mean, even the Kardashians, who you think, must have this dream life and job, they don't. It's really hard. If you do a job and do it well, every job is hard. So then the next time you're checking out at Target, at least I take an extra moment to be very nice to that person, because every job is necessary. There are very few jobs that aren't necessary. And like you said, there's so many details that you don't think about.
Yeah.
So you probably haven't even thought about it yet, but I wonder, I'd be curious to know if going forward, you kind of look at things a little differently as you walk through the world. Not that you were bad kids going, I don't talk to the cashier at Target, but you know what I mean? That you just have a different perspective on, oh, okay, that person's probably done 18 things today, not just stood there and run the groceries,
No, totally. I mean, it just kind of like reminded me that it's like all of these jobs you think are simple jobs, it's like they're all really difficult, and like there's really no such thing as like an easy job. I mean, there could definitely be exceptions to that, but like in general, it's like every job is very difficult. It's like I've had a couple of jobs. I worked as like a camp counselor, and then I work now at like as a little cashier making the ice and stuff, and like even just those two jobs, it was like jobs that you think of like as easy, fun jobs that like teenagers do on their spare time. But it really taught me how much work really goes into like service and those small jobs like that. And being a PA was definitely an interesting experience because it was different than those other jobs that I'd had. But it was also a lot of work. And it was also like, it was very similar. It was easier and more difficult in ways like comparing it to these other jobs, you know what I mean? And it was interesting to see the difference between like the job I worked as like a cashier versus like as a personal assistant, as a PA. It's like, it was, I don't know. The difference was really interesting because it was different in ways that I didn't expect, I guess.
Like what? Like, what do you mean?
Like, I definitely enjoyed being a PA more, like 100%, mostly because it's a lower stress environment for sure. Because when you're working, like, I don't have to worry about like a rush coming in and dealing with rude customers and stuff like that. It's like we're not on that end. We don't have to deal with stuff like that. But there was also, I guess, like there was definitely, I guess, a higher expectation of what, like there was a higher pressure on doing the jobs well. The stakes were higher, I guess is the best way to say that. Because it's like if I don't do a job well at, it's not good, but it's not the end of the world. It's like if I mess something up at if I make a mistake as a production assistant, it's like that could jeopardize so many other people, and it could actually affect like this big production, you know. So it was lower stress in terms of day-to-day life, but like there were definitely higher stakes on what I was doing. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know, it was a better experience for sure, because it's like, I mean, there's so many doors that open from a job like that versus like sweaty working behind a counter at so
definitely different paths.
For sure.
Right? You have lots to learn from working in a store.
Yeah.
Not to worry about it. You're running a business. That's a store. You could apply that to any number of businesses at just running a cash register.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a really interesting observation. Thank you for sharing that. Now, how did you feel working for your dad? Like, how did you feel? I have two questions for you. One is, what was it like to see your dad kind of as a boss? Did you see him as a boss at all?
Well, I didn't really there was nothing that I was doing that was directly
not a boss
for
to
him.
You, but a
like
boss
as to other people.
To other people, yeah.
Well, I don't know. He's always been bossy. Like he usually that part didn't change. Like I've always seen him as like someone who knows exactly what he wants done in that exact moment, and he knows how to get it. That like applies to home and the workplace, but like in the workplace, I guess it's taken more seriously because he does run everything. But I feel like there was definitely a lot less like playing around or poking fun when he was around, which was really different because that's usually like when like people start like joking is when he comes in. But like there was like definitely a shift in energy just because he's the boss. And like I would watch like Stacy, who was in charge of us, talk to him differently than she talked to us, and I was like, oh my god, that's so weird. Wait, what was your second question?
Second question is, what was it like to see your dad do stand up? What did you think about it?
Can I give an honest answer?
Yeah.
I didn't like it. I actually was really glad that I avoided it because I feel like if I watched it at any of earlier age, I would have had a lot stronger feelings towards the stand-up. I didn't know that's how he like portrayed, like I didn't know that's how he viewed our family, which is like in a really positive way. And I couldn't really grasp like the extent of his stand-up until Dave kind of explained it to me, where Dave sat down and he was like, you know, my son's really mad that I'm putting him in my stand-up. And I was like, okay, because he knows that I have similar feelings. I think he just kind of guessed that, like, you know, he was like, you know, my son never had a say. I never asked him permission. And I like tell him about, and Nikki Glazer told me like something similar. She was like, you know, I never asked their permission, but it's something funny and it's something I don't want to share. So I feel like that's permission enough. And Dave just kept explaining. He was like, you know, everyone has crazy families. Everyone has like some random experience that happens. They don't know who to share it to. And when your dad puts that on stage, whether it's real or fake, like people can relate. And I was like, you know, I understand people can relate, but also at the same time, like I'm listening to a story and I'm like, that's kind of half true. So I don't want people to like falsely believe this because I'm not that stupid. And then like, especially when I went up on stage, it was really weird because I felt like they were applauding for a different Georgia because it was a Georgia that I didn't create, he created, which is like, I mean, that's his job, so he can do what he wants to do. But like, it was a Georgia that he molded into someone everyone can relate to, and it wasn't me. Because obviously, like, that Georgia's rooted in like the real me, but it's not me.
Yeah.
So like, getting that applause felt kind of like half like, oh, look at, oh, it's so cool, but also like half kind of fake because I was like, I have no idea what they're applauding for, and I don't really like, I don't want to go in depth into knowing like how he strayed so far from like what truly happened, but like also, wait, I don't know how to explain this. Like I don't need to know how far from the truth like he created this Georgia because everyone likes it, so it must be something good. Like obviously I don't think he would do anything of malintent to like create a character that everyone's like, oh, I hate Georgia, but let's applaud for her. But like obviously,
yeah, no.
So I don't know. It was really weird because it was like I had never seen a stand-up before, and then I watched it and I was like, oh my God, this is what he does. And like I've had people come up to me my whole life, like, or not my whole life, but like recently in my life talking about his stand-up, and I never really knew what they were talking about. And now it's kind of like all clicking. I'm like, oh, this is who they think I am.
Yeah.
This is not actually who I am, but it's similar, but it's not completely true. So it's kind of weird. It's a weird balance, but I like how Dave explained it to me, how like everyone can relate to what he has to say because everyone's had a weird experience they can't explain and have like no one to share it to or no one to relate to. And having like a big guy on stage that probably looks like somebody in your family, like explain this crazy story about his kids and his wife and this like random experience about like an escape room, but which was completely true, like like stuff like that, and then have people laugh at it because we laughed at it was super cool.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah, that part was cool.
Yeah.
The applauding part, I was like, oh, what do I do?
Well, you and your sister are extremely mature to be able to handle any part of your dad's career because we didn't ask you guys permission to talk about you on stage. And I don't think either one of us ever thought it would. I don't think we thought about how it would affect you in the like global world.
Dad told me that.
We thought
had,
about
like, a big discussion about it.
You did?
Because when like there was an instance like over quarantine where I had like a guy DMing me and he was like,
yes,
this 30-year-old guy in Australia who thought we were married, and I was like, hello?
What?
I was like, what the heck?
So we've been in a relationship since 2006, and I was like, she's 2. In 2006,
I was born.
You're crazy.
So he was actually insane. But after that, I kind of asked him to like stop posting me on social media because like I didn't want any more like marriage proposals because I'm not like that. No, I know.
It was a little scary.
Horrifying.
Oh
and he we had a conversation about it, and I kind of like, I don't know if he even remembers this, but I kind of explained to him like, you know, you never really asked to put me in your comedy. I'm not going to tell you to take me out now because it's like way too late, but just to avoid like as much of my like personal life as possible on social media, so I don't have suitors DMing me and saying, please marry me. Like, I don't want that.
Oh,
and so he kind of said the same thing, where he like was talking about it just to talk about it, but he didn't realize like everyone would be listening.
Well, the thing too is when he started this path, there was no Instagram, there was no Facebook, there was MySpace. So when all of this path started, no one in the world knew how connected we would all be through social media, because social media didn't exist. So when you are standing live in front of an audience of 300 people telling a joke about your daughter, only those 300 people know about that joke. And then all of a sudden, social media happens, and, you know, Netflix specials happen, and Netflix is what it is. And all of a sudden it's like this big global thing that I don't know if anybody could have really planned it. I guess you could have decided I'm never speaking about my family ever. I know a lot of comics decide that from the very beginning. But I don't know. Your dad is such an authentic person. I don't know how he could talk about something that didn't involve his family. He loves the three of us so very much that I just can't imagine what he would talk about. What he talked about before he had you guys was stupid. And I was like, this is not a good joke. I mean, it's okay, but you're way smarter than that. And then when he started talking about you guys, I was like, this is really good because people can relate to it. So I'm sorry that you have some negative feelings about his comedy. They're completely understandable. And I completely understand why you'd feel that way. Hopefully it doesn't affect you going through the rest of your life as you get older. I mean, you're going to move out of the house. We'll just stop talking about you. You'll just be dead to him anyway. So
Okay.
we'll just move on. He'll
Love
be like,
that
Georgia,
plan.
who? Huh? I have a daughter? Not really, but
Love that plan.
you don't love that
No, I'm
plan.
kidding. It's a joke.
But anyway, I was curious to know what it's like. It must be really weird to have someone talk about your life publicly like that. I always, because I was an adult, when he started talking about me, I always went, well, nobody knows what's true and what's fake. So who cares? And you can't tell me every marriage hasn't had this kind of argument, this kind of like flirtation, this kind of mistake, this kind of stupid thing happen. Every marriage has it. So, and that's what makes, to me, comedy can be very healing for people. It can be like an elixir, you know, it can be like an ointment for pain, because, you know, if you are suffering, if you just lost your mom and you're devastated, and you know, listen to this story that this comedian tells you and you just laugh and forget about it for a minute, that can be very healing. So I don't know. I just thought the best product is what he should be going for. And the best product was talking about the people he loved the most. And that's what a lot of people relate to. A lot of people in that audience have kids.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in that audience, you have so many emails going, I have a Georgia and an Isla. I have a Georgia and an Isla. And so they just go, I get it. I have two kids that are very different. That's what he's saying, essentially. But anyway, I think it's cool that you finally got to see him. I was hoping you'd be a little more excited about it, but sorry.
About seeing him?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, like, it was once I got used to it, like after like the third show, when I got like, and I adapted to it, then it was like funny because I kind of like, because I'd never seen it before. So I knew my reaction was not going to be like completely like, oh my God, that's so funny, because I'm very literal.
Yeah.
So when I hear something and it's like, and everyone knows that comedy's like a bending of the truth.
Yeah, totally.
But when I hear something and I'm so literal, and I used to do it when I was a kid, when I would hear one of his jokes, I'd be like, that's not true.
That's not true. That's not how that happened.
Yes. And be like, that's
I'm
not
that
true.
way too. by the way.
And that was the only thing I was like, I just couldn't get them to add up in my head, where I was like, this is half true. Why is he only telling it half true? It's funnier in person, but I realized not everyone was there in person. So you have to obviously like inflate it a little bit.
Because he's not up there to tell the truth. He's up there to entertain,
Yeah.
to make people forget and have fun and laugh and enjoy and possibly reflect on their own life and choices. Comedy can be very, very powerful. Not just your dad's, in general. Comedy can change things that other things can't change, because you can present ideas through humor that are hard to present in a literal way. I'm a very literal thinker too. And with comedy, you definitely, it's like a horror movie. You have to suspend your disbelief. and go, we don't know what's true and what's not true, but we're just going to go with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was your favorite thing about working for the festival? Favorite thing?
Honestly, probably the people that were around us. I mean, like, we were treated so well being there. I mean, like, everyone was so understanding, so sweet. And it's like, yeah, we were working, but at the same time, everyone did want us to have a good time. And yeah, I mean, it's like, it was just really nice to be working in that kind of environment, because it's different at the other jobs that I've had, for sure.
Yeah.
So it was really nice to step into something where it's like, I truly felt like everyone there was, you know, had our best interest at heart. And it was great. I mean, I met so many amazing people. Everyone wanted to talk to us, like wanted to hang out with us, wanted us to be around for everything. Which was just really cool to be able to meet such like sweet, understanding people who were like genuinely interested in us. And
yeah, and when you're with those people, it gives you an incentive to work harder,
for sure.
Because you're like,
for sure.
You're like, well, I just want to do it because I want to make them happy. Instead of people that treat you with hostility, then you're kind of like, well, okay, then what's the point of doing this?
Exactly.
But when you're around people that you kind of either want to impress or want to make feel like more relaxed or happier, you have an incentive to work harder. And so that was definitely like why I kept waking up in the morning, or we kept like moving so fast to do stuff. It's because we were like, well, I like these people, so I might as well just do what they want.
Yeah,
like, they're fun.
it's people that we didn't want to disappoint, because you know, they treat us so well. It's like we want to treat them well in return.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice to hear, because you know, one thing your dad's really good at, he doesn't have a lot of patience for assholes, like people who are just not nice. Everybody that works for him, from Halston to Mans to Stacy, Amanda, Jess, every person is a really good person. Peter,
they really are.
What a good person. They're all good.
That's
people.
been like a common theme with people that have like left, is there's usually a problem with their like morality as opposed to like their work ethic. Like their work ethic definitely has something to do with it, but like the work ethic for him never outweighs your morality.
Your value system.
No, that was something I noticed too. It's like work ethic is so extremely important, of course, but it's like it's not as important, I guess, as moral character, and like to be around people who it's like I felt safe around everybody.
Right.
I felt like everyone was gonna treat us with respect, and like I didn't think that any problems would arise at all. And it was great. It was nice to work in that kind of environment. I mean, like we only had like really a couple negative experiences.
That's also like kind of segues into my favorite part, was that the 3 people we reported to were all women. Like that was a main reason that he wanted us to go on the tours, because like we went to an all-girls school, which instills like, you know, power in women, whatever, but like you don't actually see it applied until you start working in the real world. And the 3 people you have to report to are 3 women that run everybody else. So we would report to these like strong individuals, and then the only people, oddly enough, that we were mistreated by were men. like all the women treated us with so much respect, and they held us to like a high standard that we obviously met, but like they were so proud of us like through and through. And obviously like some of the men were too, like a lot of the men were, but like the only negative instances we had like
happened to be
yes,
men.
Right. Like
No,
obviously
for sure.
it's not a common theme with all men, but the ones that we did experience were men, which makes sense why he would have 3 women in charge of his career.
Yeah.
Like that makes total sense.
No, that was such a cool experience, because like, you know, Stacy, Jess, Amanda, they're all like such incredible role models. Like they're hardworking.
Yes.
They don't let bad stuff slide. They, you know,
Jess, I love her.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Jess
my
was
God.
great. We watched
She was
her.
insane. It's like,
Yeah, it was great. And they're all so hardworking, but also so sweet.
Yeah.
Like,
and they're very
Wonderful.
level-headed. They're
Yeah.
like very real people. Like Stacy would treat us with the exact same respect she would treat an adult with. And Amanda would treat us with so much kindness that I felt safe to tell her anything at all. Like I felt so safe around her. And Jess was just such a real and raw person. Like the very first day I started working, she showed me, like, she introduced me to like the crew that was like, you know, setting up all the chairs and like the actual like muscle of the of like working and setting up the stage. And she told me, she was like, you need to see this part of the tour before you go sit inside and like cut laminated numbers, because this is as important as that.
Right.
And most people take for granted this part of tour where you're setting up and you're in the sun all day and you're drinking Gatorade because you're sweating and like all this stuff's happening. And she like introduced me to the guy. His name was Killer. And I was like, oh my God. But like, she was like, and he drove us around in a golf cart. And Daisy was like, what was his name? I was like, Killer. And she was like, oh, okay. so like all of them, honestly, that was really important for me because like, obviously I'm going to see the
real truth tellers. Come on in, Pete and Amanda. The real
Why?
truth tellers are here to find out what kind of lies are being spread around about us two.
Okay, Jesus.
They've only been saying good stuff.
I listened to some of it. It was awesome.
What did you listen to?
They said that Pete gets slap happy in the middle of the day. After a couple beers.
They said after you hit 40,000 steps, you started getting loopy.
Yeah,
And his feet turned brown.
completely orange.
Oh, that was terrifying.
Because he was wearing
That was
flip-flops all day.
concerning.
I just thought it would be fun to jump in because we all did work together.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask, the only question I would like to know the answer to, and I don't know if you've done it, I would like you to go through the stand-ups you watched.
Not just Bert.
No, yeah.
We
No,
already talked about
have you
your
talked
stand-up.
about me?
We talked about your stand-up, yeah, but who else
I was
did
there
you
for that night.
see?
Well, I would love to hear kind of like, because they watched a bunch of stand-up, and it was really cool to watch two very woke young ladies, two very socially minded young ladies, laugh at completely inappropriate jokes. And I loved it. I loved it. It's my favorite thing. I'm going to say this. I'm going to walk away. Are my shorts too short? It was, I know Georgia and I know Georgia's politics, and they're very empathetic. They're very sensitive. They're very, very, very liberal. But to watch her laugh at guys who make a living, and they're all my best friends, and women who tell inappropriate jokes was really, really fun. And I feel like it connected me to my daughter more than anything, for us both to be laughing at someone like, say, Shane Gillis or Dave Attell or Big J. Okerson. So I'm going to leave, and I would love, we can edit it out if you don't want to put it in. But I would love you to talk about the highlights of your favorite comics that you saw, because to share with my little girl, my favorite thing in the world, which is stand-up comedy, was like the coolest thing I could have ever done.
I
That
bet.
and dance to Carter Cruise. That was fun. Like when we, Carter Cruise. But I'll leave you guys alone. This sounds like an awesome podcast. I listened to the first 15 minutes.
You did.
Yeah, I was
you
when there with
sneaky.
headsets. I didn't hear Georgia talk about my stand-up, and I don't want to. So, what was it like when I said, when I was 22 years old, I got involved with the Russian mafia, and the crowd goes like this, oh, fuck, and you're just back there and your face is melting. You're like, ah. What was that like?
That definitely happened.
Okay. Anyway, I would like to hear that. I would like to hear like a one-off on their favorite jokes, favorite comics.
What did you think when that happened? Because the crowd does go
You are
crazy when he
sweaty.
says that first part of that story. What did you think about that?
Daisy, we'll start with you.
Go ahead.
Okay, it was a cool experience for me because like I've only ever known Bert as Georgia's dad.
Mm-hmm.
Like I never really like watched his comedy or anything like that. So it really put into perspective like how big the whole thing is.
Right.
Because it's like it's really easy to forget that because it's like we don't see that side of things at all.
Yeah.
But closer. Okay. Like we don't see that side of things like at all. And I didn't really expect to be a part of it. And like it was really cool. Like especially in Louisville in that arena,
Mhm.
like when you can really hear everything, it was insane. Like to hear how fired up the crowd was and like
Mhm.
they were just so excited. Like
Yeah.
it was crazy. It
That's
was
cool.
pretty weird. But it was pretty cool to like be a part of it. I was like, oh my God, like they're cheering for him and I'm backstage. Like I'm watching this.
I was
I'm
just
a
in
part
his
of
pool
it.
last week.
Yeah.
This is really weird.
Yeah, exactly.
He just ordered me dinner.
Yeah. No, seriously.
That's cool.
Yeah, but it put everything into perspective. It was really cool.
That's cool. What do you
Mhm.
think, Georgia, when the crowd went wild?
For like the machine story specifically.
Yeah.
Well, I always knew it was real because like I remember growing up, you always like emphasized that it was real. But like I just you were like, it's a true story. I swear to God. And I was like, okay, buddy boy. Because like the only thing I can think about is how much like pure anxiety he has, and I don't think he could rob a train. Like I just don't think that could happen. Like he's just too anxious. Like he doesn't go. No. Pause.
Just too anxious.
No, like he's too scared to feed the cat in the basement. So I was
Yeah.
like, why would you even rob a train?
Excellent point, Georgia.
So like when he was like, when I was 20, I got involved in the Russian mafia. I was like, sure, okay. But like I always knew it was real because like as a kid I knew it was real because like the story never changed. But like I didn't hear the full story, but like the basis of the story never changed. And then hearing the whole thing, like it just sounded so like you. Like you're just not. Sometimes on occasion you can act like a bit of a Neanderthal. So I was just like, oh my God, he would totally do this. Like hopefully the part about you learning Russian was true. Like that's how you learn. I don't know what that means.
Of course.
Okay. But that also makes sense because like I've seen Isla go through school and she learns in ways like that. So I was like, oh my God, it's the DNA. It's real.
Yeah.
But it was really weird because like that many people like just have pure faith that it's real. But like you're scared to feed the cat. So I was like, how did he do that?
You'd be shocked what you can do when you're hanging out with the mob. All right, guys. Hey, I would love. I don't need to stay for this, but I would love to hear their insights on their favorite jokes, favorite comics, what they thought about David Tell, and stuff like that.
Okay.
That's just me.
Okay.
Because I'm
Good.
listening to this podcast before it even posted.
Okay.
Anything you guys want to say about Peter and Amanda while they're here?
They already said it. It was
Already
all.
said it.
It was all good.
Okay.
You'll have to listen.
All right, and just say I look skinny on stage. All right, bye guys.
God.
Hey, Peter and I are heading to Cotty's to unload the bus. Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Where's Amanda going?
With them, I'm sure.
Oh.
So, did you have a favorite comic that you saw? Besides Bert.
Okay.
Sal.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm a little biased with that though, because like I grew up with my dad, and we used to always watch Impractical Jokers
Mm-hmm.
constantly, and then I didn't know he was gonna be there. I had no idea. This is the first night. I'm like looking on the list. I'm like, Sal Volcano. I was like, excuse me.
Also, I didn't know he knew me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
He was like, the last time I saw you, you were 8. I was like,
Yeah, I'm
Hello?
overhearing this. Like, are you kidding me? He walks in. I was like, oh my God. I was like, Georgia, should I say hi? I was like, I don't want to be weird. And I'm sitting there like sweating. And then he like comes up to us and is asking me about college. I'm like, I'm going to. Did I say that weird? Did I say it weird? It was so, but okay. And then he went on stage and he did such a good job. We were
oh my
laughing
God,
so
his
hard.
story was so
It was
funny.
so
Yeah.
funny.
Because he tells stories like in a way, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's just so easy to follow
Yeah.
that you don't have to like, and it's all connected. It's all easy to follow. And it's like, really, it was so funny.
It just takes a certain skill to be able to tell a story that long and
Yeah.
keep it engaging and keep it
Yeah.
entertaining the whole time. Like,
because I think he only had like one joke, but it was like
The
the
whole
entire time.
Right.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it spanned out and you were entertained the entire time.
Oh yeah, it
Like
didn't-
Shane had like 3 or 4 and
Yeah.
like most people have like 3 or 4, but he
Mhm.
had like 1 and you were like glued to him talking about it for this entire time
Yeah.
because it like totally adds up to who he is as a person.
Yeah.
Like you could totally see it happening and he was just so good at telling the story.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
That we were just like, oh my God, Daisy and I had
yeah.
so much fun.
We were
like,
laughing so hard. It was so engaging and so funny the entire time. I mean, I did have a little bit of a bias, but like,
Did you
oh my
take
God,
a
it was just
picture
so
with
fun.
him? Did you get a picture?
no, I got too
Daisy.
nervous. I was like, okay, after he gets off stage, I'm gonna do it. I can do this. I can seize my opportunity. And then someone was like, oh, Sal's not here. He left on his flight to Milwaukee. I was like, oh great, oh fantastic.
Oh no!
But yeah, no, I texted my dad too. I was like, Sal Volcano's here. He's like, tell him we love his stuff. I'm like, I'll do it.
I will do it.
And then I never did.
Oh
But it's okay.
man! Oh
Yeah. I mean, I got to see him. I got to talk to him, and he was so sweet. He was definitely one of like the
he's very sweet.
just so sweet, so genuine, so like
That's
just-
the thing
just-
too. Not just who you worked with.
Mhm.
All those comics are just really good people.
yeah, like
Every
Nikki
one of them.
Glazer came up to
Yeah.
all of us and like we weren't working at this point of the tour, but we were there. And she just kind of treated us like she knew us from forever.
Well,
Yeah.
Nikki
Like, she
has
just-
known you forever.
Well, I'm saying like as a collective, it was like
Ah.
me, Isla, her friend Dakota, Sophia, and Daisy, and she didn't know most of the people. And I haven't seen Nikki in like forever.
Years, yeah.
So she just kind of treated us like we were all her like little sisters. She's like, oh my god, blah, blah, blah. She's like, I cater my comedy to like young girls so they can learn about like what I do. And then someone came up to us later and they were like, her comedy is not catered to young girls.
No, did you see her
Then
comedy?
we watched
Yeah, we watched it.
God
Like,
almighty.
Jesus.
Yep.
The first thing she said to us was, she's like, okay, what's better, boots or sneakers? I was like, okay, great. This is where we're starting off.
She's awesome.
With
I
no
love her.
socks. We were like, okay.
Someone got her socks though.
No, Carter got
Carter
her
did.
socks.
Yeah, someone did. Yeah,
Yeah.
someone got her socks.
But it was also really weird to see Joey Diaz. Because like
I bet. Uncle Joey.
I never saw him in comedy at all.
Yeah.
Like I knew he did podcasts and I knew he was friends with like all of Dad's friends. And as soon as I saw him, I felt like I was seeing like a family friend.
Yeah, because
But,
he
like,
is. I mean,
yeah.
he's been at Christmas Eve and Easter every year for how many years?
That's
Forever.
crazy.
Yeah, like we
That's
talked about
wild.
his daughter for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But then anytime I would be like when I told Dad, I was like, oh, Joey's here. Like everyone around me would act like, oh my God, Joey Diaz is here. Oh my God, it's Joey Diaz. But I was like, okay, like I've seen him like on holidays. Like I don't know what you're talking about.
For you, it's just Joey.
Yeah,
just
like
Uncle
it's just Joey Diaz. And then like, but for everybody else, it was like such a big deal. I was like, that was one of the parts that really tripped me out is like some of the people that I met on tour or not I met on tour, but like that I was with on tour were like held to higher standards to like other people than they were to me, only because like I grew up with those people.
Mhm.
Like Stacy, like a lot of people were scared of Stacy, but like I'd known Stacy since like I remember meeting her as a kid, and I remember like
Right.
talking to her when I was a kid,
Right.
and then I like see her again, and she still kind of like treats me like she's known me forever
Yeah,
because I'm like her best friend's kid.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is so weird.
She's such a good person. She was the content producer on the show, and she killed it. You know, before we move on to the comics, I was going to say this before Dad came in. Something that you should be really proud of with your dad, no matter his Neanderthal / meathead / misogynistic /
Oh,
you know, patriarchal comments,
Florida
behaviors from time to time.
Boy, man.
His manager is a woman. One of his 2 touring agents is a woman. His tour manager is Amanda. His the promoter is Jess. Stacy is his content person. His trainer is a woman, his personal trainer.
He likes women.
He surrounds himself with strong, balanced, get it done, really powerful women. I would say he married one also, and
For sure.
he
Oh, that's what I kept saying.
Delivered
I kept saying
to-
to like Stacy. I was like, "You are my mom."
we
I
are
thought
very
you were my
similar.
mom.
All of those women are very similar women, and I don't think that is
An accident.
normal in Hollywood for
That's
a
very true.
man in a male-driven industry, in a male-driven content,
Mhm.
to have almost all of his key players be women is really a big deal,
Mhm.
and it should be acknowledged in a
For
certain
sure.
way. You know, not that the point is, and the point is proven here, the right person for the job should get the job.
Yes.
No matter their gender, race, sexuality, the right person should be in that job. And I think your dad doesn't just hire women to hire women. He hires the right person for the job. Halston, not a woman. Peter, not a woman. He's got plenty of agents that are not women. Nick
He treats Peter
Nucifaro.
like a wife, though.
Yeah.
Well, I
That's
think
what
he
we're
treats
joking
Peter
about.
like a husband.
Oh, true.
I think he's the wife.
I know. We were like, "Where's Bert's wife?" And then Peter's
Yes.
like, "Hi, guys."
Yes. Bert's got plenty of powerful men in his team too. His lawyer, his Nick Nucifaro's one of the most amazing human beings on the planet, because I say that to say that he just hires the right person for the job. So
Yeah.
as meathead as your dad comes off sometimes, the proof is in the pudding. If you look at who he surrounds himself with, one of his best friends is Sandy. You know, he's got 2 amazing sisters. Loves his mom. And it's not just because they're women, it's because of who they are. I think he's really good at seeing someone for who they are, not for what they are
Definitely.
or what they stand for even. Even his meathead friends who are telling misogynistic jokes, he can see them for who they are, not necessarily what they're representing. Because some of those jokes are so bad.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
freaking love them. Because
Yeah.
you know why? They are a joke.
Mm-hmm.
And jokes really should be pretty much equal opportunity.
Mhm.
Of course, there's some things that you can't really joke about, but then all of a sudden you'll find a comic who does. And you go, oh, I didn't know you could make a joke about the Holocaust, but you just
Yeah,
did that.
yeah,
and
yeah,
it was
yeah.
actually perfectly done.
Yeah.
And I have no offense. No one can take offense to that. So being open to hearing comedy and being, allowed to think freely while you're listening to something that if you were literal, like you're saying, you're a literal
Mhm.
thinker, if you heard literally, I hate women from a comic, you would go, what an asshole. But in the context of a joke, it might be really brilliantly funny and you might
Mhm.
understand that he means the exact opposite.
Yeah.
That's what
You
we
know?
were saying is like they're like, especially when we were watching like Shane's jokes,
What
he would.
do
he
you
would,
think about Shane?
Oh my god. He like
You didn't like his Trump jokes?
no, his Trump
those were
impression was so
hilarious.
good. I was
Right?
like, this is a little
Hilarious.
too good. But like he would make a joke and then and so would Big J. They would make jokes and then kind of like instantly apologize for them.
Yeah.
Like Shane would make a joke about Down syndrome and then apologize and then go back to making fun of it and
Yeah.
then like kind of make up for it.
Right.
And then like Big J made a joke about like women, but then he like thanked all the women in his life and
Yeah.
then continued to make the joke and
Yeah.
then and it kind of makes it funnier to know that they're just joking.
Yeah.
And like because I don't know, like
that is the point.
especially from like a woman's perspective, if you see like a big white guy on stage,
Yeah.
you don't know what they're actually believe in. But like if you hear like Big J going, I want to thank my mom, my sister, blah, 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 like all these women, and then he still makes a joke and you can still laugh at it. But like at least you have
Yeah.
some like knowledge that, he is just joking.
What I thought was so interesting was that there was sometimes like a disconnect between like what the comic was saying and how the audience was reacting. Like Shane, for example, like, okay, yeah, his humor is definitely like could be considered offensive. I mean, we definitely thought it was funny. I mean, okay, like I guess for us, it's like offensive humor has never really like lined up. It just was
You
never
mean
really our
generally,
cup of tea.
generationally?
Generally, but like I don't know. I think he did a great job at like at least from what we saw, like a great job of making offensive jokes, but not having them be actually offensive.
Yes.
Like no one was offended.
they're
by
not
That's
the
a beautiful
joke.
way
Yeah.
of saying that.
Yeah,
Perfectly
they're-
said.
yeah. Like it's like yeah. I mean, you're joking about a sensitive topic, but everyone understands it's a joke. It's not delivered in a way that is serious or makes anyone feel bad about themselves or feel bad about something else.
Mhm.
But it was really interesting because like he would tell these jokes, but the audience would like, depending on like where we were, maybe like
Oh,
they would
yeah.
laugh at like the wrong parts or like
Right.
laugh a little too hard at something else. Like, oh, when Shane was doing his whole Trump thing, like we're all laughing at his jokes, whatever, and he said something like, he was like, oh, I don't care about politics, but like let the man debate. And the audience laughed cheered a little too loud.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they
It
would
was
like
just really
change their
funny.
jokes like catering to the audience. Like he would
Yes.
either like run the Trump joke a little longer based on where we were, or like really shorten and run another joke a little longer.
Yeah.
And that's like especially what we noticed. We were like, oh, that one like didn't work on this state, but it worked
Oh yeah,
really
that
well
was
in the last
fascinating.
state.
too. It was so weird. Yeah,
That's
I
super
mean
fascinating.
that disconnect was just so strange because it was like sometimes like I felt like they were laughing at the wrong thing
Mhm.
or like they would laugh at a joke and I'd be like, I'm not 100% sure they're laughing at the right part of that. You know what I mean?
I think they
Yeah.
were laughing at the
Yeah.
right reason.
Yeah, exactly. Like that disconnect was really interesting
Yeah.
to see.
It is interesting. It's interesting when you travel the country, right? When you go to places that aren't like LA,
Mhm.
because urban areas like LA, New York, San Francisco, Chicago have a very different way of moving through their day
Mhm.
than, my cousin in Alabama who drives a truck for a living.
Mhm.
Your day and his day are nothing alike.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So in some ways, you're not going to find the same part of the joke funny.
Mhm.
So for not you, but for a person to be in that audience and be able to laugh together, even if you're laughing at two different parts of the joke,
Mhm.
doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen a lot in life in the way the world is working these days.
Mhm.
To be able to laugh at one joke for multiple reasons,
Yeah.
you're still all laughing.
Yeah.
That's kind of a cohesive bringing together of people. I just don't know where that happens other than comedy these days.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, there were 3 television channels: ABC, CBS, NBC. That's it. So you're pretty much guaranteed somebody you know is watching the same thing you're watching at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're laughing at the Dukes of Hazzard,
Yeah.
then my friend down the street's probably laughing at the Dukes of Hazzard too. Well, everybody's watching everything on 5 million different channels these days. The only time you're in a collective where you're all kind of enjoying something together is a live performance, whatever that performance is, comedy, play, or concert. But it's so cool when you can just hear this whole group of people laugh.
Yeah.
And they're laughing not all at the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
But it's all still laughter and positive.
For sure.
It's really amazing. I love comedy so much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so who else? Who else was on your show? You had Sal, you had Shane, you saw Joey with Bert, you saw Nikki with Bert when you were off duty.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? What did you think about Mark Normand?
I don't think
He wasn't on.
He was on
the night when we came.
when you came
I
as
don't
a
think
guest.
we watched.
Oh,
I
you
watched.
Oh, I don't remember.
I watched.
think
I
with
thought
Isla.
I thought he was funny, but I also it's okay. I loved seeing the difference between all the comics.
Yeah.
And like the way that they delivered jokes.
Yeah.
Because his was very like, I don't know how to describe it. It was very like the words are somewhere. I got him.
Snarky?
It's somewhere.
little
Snarky,
snarky?
yeah. But very like they were very like clear cut, clean jokes.
Yes, they were
like
very written.
They were written
Mhm.
jokes.
Yes.
Like that worked. Like you could read them off a piece of paper.
Yes, very true.
So, and like, I thought that was so interesting because there were so many other comics, like Jay, for example, like his was way more about delivery
Mhm.
and way more about like just him sitting there kind of talking to the audience. And I loved to see that difference, like in the way that like they all contrasted each other.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I guess he was the perfect example because it's like, I felt like he was the most different out of all of them in a way, I guess. Because it's
Yeah.
like, it was the same type of material, like the same type of humor, but delivered in such a different way.
Mhm.
It just, I don't know, like I liked his because it just reminded me of like how versatile comedy can be.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
What do you think about Taylor?
Oh, Taylor
Oh
was
my god,
hilarious.
she was
We love
so
Taylor.
funny.
We loved her.
But she like, oh my god, we loved that. But like, she just, I don't know. She just reminds me of like, I feel like she's one of those people that gets on stage and like someone like Taylor. Like, so she
Yes.
gets on stage and she starts telling these jokes and you're like, I've definitely had that conversation before.
Right.
Or I've definitely thought about this before.
Right.
Or I know this is a thought my friend had in her head. Like, I just feel like she's someone that you know and she's just verbalizing just life for you.
Right.
Like, she puts like day-to-day experiences that you forget about or don't think about as often like into words and makes it so funny.
Hmm.
And then watching her interact with Dad was so weird because she reminded me of myself. I was like, oh my god,
that's so-
you are me. And Dad would even say that. He'd be like, oh, Taylor, I just like, she's like a daughter to me. And I'd be like, oh my god, she acts like it too. So I think you're right.
They
That's
toured together
hilarious.
for like 2 years. She opened for your dad. And I think they helped each other a lot. I
Mhm.
think she's a very good writer.
She-
And she was really good she was always very generous in that she would watch his sets and say, this isn't working. What if you do this? And he listened to her. He really respected what she had to say. I'm so proud of her because she's worked very hard and she's super successful. She
Mhm.
deserves it. She's very smart. May have a little bit of anxiety.
Oh, I
Yeah.
noticed that.
yeah. her
I was
personality.
watching her sit on the bus and I was like, yeah, I'm definitely you.
Yeah.
I was like watching just like her in a space of all these people and like, I don't know, it just reminded me so much of myself. I was like, this girl right here, I know what she's
It was-
thinking.
Yeah. I liked her. I feel like she catered to a much younger audience
She
than
did.
everyone
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
Which is probably why we liked her so much.
Right.
Because it was way more relatable to us than any of the other comics. I mean, not that that's bad, but like, you know.
No.
And yeah, I mean, it was also interesting to see like someone who was like clearly like an introvert in that environment because it's like everyone else was just kind of like, you know, very out there,
Loud.
very loud.
Jesus.
And it was like, it was so funny to me because it's like her whole life is stand up and is being around these people, but she herself is so introverted.
Yeah.
But
She's
yeah,
very
it was cool.
quiet.
Mhm.
Did you get to see Fortune Feimster?
Yeah,
I saw like
I saw-
half of her.
we saw a little bit.
Yeah,
I
because I
love
think
her.
we were like walking.
eating dinner.
Yeah.
We were
She's
so
one of my
hungry.
favorite people. I
She was
love
funny.
Fortune.
Yeah, she was funny.
You can
She
tell
was
she's
very
a
funny.
genuine person too.
Yeah.
Like a very
100%.
I talked to her wife a lot and her wife was so sweet.
She's lovely. Yes.
Her wife was like, "Oh, where are you going to college? What are you gonna do? Oh my god, what kind of person are you? How many friends do you have?" I was like, "Oh my god, I'm getting overwhelmed." But she was so sweet.
Yeah.
And then like, I don't know. I feel like people this is like, this kind of like caters to me and Isla, but like there, like she had like people like that, like Fortune's wife, have very different understanding of comedy than the normal person because she's so involved in it.
Yeah.
So she just like instantly understood how his comedy would have affected me.
Yeah.
Instantly. So she already asked me about it. She was like, so I know what you probably think about your dad, blah, 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 and then started talking to me about it. And I felt really comfortable talking to her because like she was like, she could relate. She has a wife that does comedy all the time and probably talks about her.
Yeah.
And so like it's really weird to see that side of comedy too, where there's like a small group of people that kind of understand like you like you and her would get along because you have that to relate on. You know what I mean?
What about Dave Attell? What'd you think
he
about
was
Dave
hilarious.
Attell?
He was so funny. He was different though. He was like
he
would write like, it sounded like he was writing new sets every night.
Yeah.
Like everything he said was different from the night before.
He's just so brilliant. Like
Yeah.
he's so naturally like good at it, and like all of his jokes were so layered, like so funny, so thought out, but like they seemed to come out so quickly. Like you could tell he was just such like a professional. Like it's just like it was just what he was meant to do. It was really, really fun to watch somebody like that, to watch someone so talented.
Yeah. He's a
Do
legend.
something like that. Oh yeah.
He's amazing. He's
Yeah.
my favorite comic of all time. He's my
hilarious.
most favorite.
yeah.
And when Bert and I were brainstorming about the tour, and he was like, "What about Dave Attell?" And I went, "Yeah, because I
Yeah.
feel like with Dave, and I feel like your generation have no idea who he is, nor would you have a reason to unless you are someone who goes actively to see comedy and comedy clubs.
Yeah.
And that's it's a very specific person who does that. Usually
Yeah.
people are a fan and then they go to comedy clubs. It's so you would have had to have really discovered someone like Dave Attell.
Yeah.
And he's just so freaking brilliant. He's like, he's just brilliant. He's just great. And I was really proud of your dad because your dad he was so smart with this tour. He said, let's get someone like Attell and let's get someone like Taylor. Those two audiences do not mix. They don't mix. But if we get Taylor's audience, what if 20% of them now are in love with Dave Attell?
Yes.
And what if
Yeah.
we get Dave Attell's audience and 20% of them fall in love with Taylor? Well, now both of their audience has improved.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And now
That-
you got some
yeah.
crossover.
Yeah.
And he did.
I noticed that he
same
was
with
doing that
He was
because
doing that on
every
purpose.
single comic
Yes.
was so different.
Yes,
But
on
that made,
purpose.
made the show so entertaining to watch.
Mhm.
And it's like knowing that, there like so many different audiences might have been in there was
Mhm.
it was really cool.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
It was really cool. Who was you already told me Sal. So what was your least favorite part of this job? Oh, no,
Least
wait.
favorite?
We didn't talk about Carter.
Oh,
Oh my God, I love her.
Oh, I love Carter.
What do you think
God,
about
we
Carter
love
Cruz?
Oh my
Carter.
God, she's
She was our
hilarious.
little like buddy in the corner.
Yeah,
she was
she
like
was.
the first
was our buddy.
day I ever met her. She was like, this was before the tour. She was loading her stuff on the tour bus. She had like 4 bags, and she was like, she came up to me and she was like, I can tell there's going to be a lack of estrogen on this tour. And I was like, yeah, but I'm bringing my friend Daisy, so like you'll be like, if you need anyone to talk to, you can come talk to us. She was like, oh, thank God. And then it was, oh my God, she was so fun. I loved her.
Yeah, she was just a lot of fun. She was just another one of those people who really wanted us to have a good time too. And she loved hanging out with us.
Yeah.
We would sit and talk with her all the time. She's so much fun and she has so much energy.
So much energy,
Like
right?
so much energy, but it's nice to be around someone like that. 'Cause it's
Yeah.
like, we might be tired at the end of a long day of doing whatever, like being, taping numbers on chairs in the sun and whatever. But
we have
like-
Carter who's like bouncing
Yes,
off the wall.
yeah,
She's
Carter,
like, do you
she,
want
like,
to get
keeps
meat
the
and hot
energy
sauce
up,
and heat it up?
keeps everything
We're
fun.
like,
Yeah, she just made everything so much more like fun and
That's
exciting.
great.
Yeah,
I
and
loved
it was
her.
great to have someone to be around like that.
Yeah, I thought she was great.
she was great,
so
and she.
fun.
Oh my God, her music was so good.
Yeah.
God,
it was
she was
so
amazing.
good.
Yeah.
I would like
Great
find
DJ.
myself dancing to it and not know I was dancing, and then I'd be
Same.
like,
Same.
is
It's like I rarely do I ever hear DJ'd music and be like, oh, this is really good. Like you kind of have to like listen to it.
Mhm.
It's like no, I would just kind of hear it and be like, wait, wow, this is like really good. Like it was.
Yeah.
She's super talented.
and
She
there
was
was so
awesome.
much stuff that with her that like technologically like went wrong on stage and you couldn't even tell.
Oh,
Like there was
really?
one time where like a system opened up like mid performance and she covered it up so well, like no one found a problem with it. And she would tell us after the show, she'd be like, this and this went wrong, and we'd be like, dude, it sounded great. I don't know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. That's
No,
really
she-
cool.
yeah.
I love her story. I love that she's shifted careers and is doing something totally new. And I would like to think that people would judge her for who she is today, because the rest, because the only person you really are is who you are today.
Mm-hmm.
Really,
like it's unfair to
only
hold
person.
something, no matter how long ago
unfair.
in your past it was, against someone presently, because you
agree.
don't know
Yeah.
how much work they've put
redemption
into.
is real for
Yeah.
everybody, and not that
Yeah.
she even needed redeeming from what she did before. But
Yeah.
in some people's eyes, that's a really bad choice in life. And I just, she was an adult. She made a choice. She's changing her choices.
Mhm.
Freaking celebrate that.
Yeah, seriously.
Celebrate where she is today.
Yeah.
And screw the rest of it. Who cares?
And
Yeah.
honestly, that's as important a role model as Stacey, Jess, and Amanda.
Totally. I
Oh, yeah.
completely agree with you.
100%,
Yes.
100% to be able to like come out of something like that. Like the amount of disrespect she still has to deal with,
Yeah.
even though she's out of it.
Yeah.
Like she's moved herself away from it. She's in a completely different career now.
Yep.
And people are still judging her for something like that. That rubs me the wrong
Yep.
way. And I don't like how there was one venue she couldn't even play at.
Yep.
And we had to, we literally had to sit and like create
A Spotify, playlist
Spotify
that they put on
playlist.
shuffle.
Yeah, and it just wasn't good. Like it wasn't. It wasn't the same at all. And I just don't
No.
think it was not fair. Like who is that helping? What is that doing?
It wasn't doing anything. She was, and what's
Yeah.
really crazy is what she did in her career choice before DJing was not illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Joey spent time in prison for kidnapping.
Yeah.
Jesus.
He kidnapped somebody.
Oh my god.
But he
That's-
could perform at
oh
that
my
venue.
God.
I know, that's where you're kind of
Yeah.
like, okay, why
Everybody
does
loves
the rule
him.
change?
Yeah.
So I don't understand what she was doing.
Isn't
wasn't
like
even
kidnapping
illegal.
a little more threatening
A
than
little bit more
Yeah.
serious kidnapping somebody.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I love Joey with every part of who I am, and he's completely out there with who he was in the past and who he is today. I love him. I love him to pieces. I have no judgment whatsoever on him ever doing anything illegal.
Yeah.
My point is the venue would say yes to him, but no to her because
Yeah,
she
that's
did
not fair.
something that they believed to be salacious in the past. And
Yeah.
many people believe it to be salacious, but it wasn't illegal.
No, and it doesn't
Not
mean that
illegal.
you bar
Yeah.
someone from trying to fix themselves in the future. It's
Exactly.
completely like if you really believe that what she was doing back then was so bad, support her
Yes.
in trying to change her
Exactly.
life. I don't understand I just don't understand who that's helping. It's like you're gonna make assumptions off of someone that you've never even spoken to.
Never,
You've
don't
never
even know who
even-
she is.
Don't even know who she is.
Yeah.
It's like that one thing that she used to do should not determine
No.
how she's able to live her life now. And I wish that people would stop judging her so much, because it's like you don't know her life. You
No.
don't know anything.
And honestly, people like that don't deserve to have an insight onto her past.
No, it's like you don't
they
get
have,
to
they
just,
don't. No, like I'm saying, like they don't deserve to have like such
An
strong
opinion?
opinions if
Oh,
they don't
yeah.
want to
Yeah.
even bother asking.
Well, my question is this for
Mhm.
all those Christians out there.
Mhm.
What would Jesus do?
Yeah.
I don't believe Jesus would say, you are tainted forever and bad and horrible and evil. I believe Jesus would have said, play your music, girl.
Yeah.
Get your groove on.
Yeah.
Cue up
And
Rihanna.
look what you doing, all these people, making them
Yeah.
dance and move. I think Jesus would have celebrated that
Yeah.
moment in her
Exactly.
life. And so being a Christian myself on some level,
Mhm.
I don't like that when other Christians go, oh, no.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, kidnapping's not one of the 10 commandments, but
Yeah.
it's pretty fucking illegal.
yeah,
Just saying.
Yeah. It's not really about Christianity.
No,
It's
it's
not.
not. It's
It's
about
not.
stupid shit.
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway,
It's
I
just a
had to say
crush.
that because
Yeah.
it's bothered me so badly
Mhm.
ever since I found out that she couldn't play that one venue. It's really bothered me.
That was really messed up.
It was really messed up. It was
Yeah.
it was unfair
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
it was stupid and it's small-minded and
Yeah.
it's
And
not
it benefits
Christian.
no one.
Yeah.
It's not Christian,
It's
and
not.
I'm
It's
sure
not. It's not.
morality was the reason, and it's not Christian. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
So you can take whatever opinion you have about that and really think about what would Jesus do.
Yeah.
Jesus loved everybody, the
Yeah.
leper, the prostitute, everybody.
Exactly.
He loved
Literally.
everybody.
Exactly.
So-
Exactly.
Then you gotta love everybody too.
Yeah.
Doi.
Yeah. It was about morality and a little bit of misogyny,
Stupid
and it's
meathead.
yeah.
Yeah, Neanderthal.
Yeah. Seriously.
It's a big, you know what your dad? He paid her for that night.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Paid her.
Because he said it would go against his like moral code and value system if he didn't, because it's something he can't control.
That's right.
I was like, well, yeah, agree, obviously.
Totally. Okay. Least favorite thing about this job. What was
I
your
have
least
one
favorite?
right here.
Oh.
You do.
The treatment from certain people. They were just there. Like, I'm not going to name names, obviously, because I don't think that's very fair. But I just believe that there was just a certain like spectrum of entitlement that I think some people had. Like, obviously, it's hard to say that there's someone above you, especially if you. I don't know.
Well, there's a rank.
Yeah, there's a rank,
obviously,
for sure.
Amanda's in charge of you.
Yeah.
Amanda's
So,
above you.
Obviously,
but-
like, I can understand why some people have a hard time, like, kind of abiding by that rank, especially when they're on the lower end of the rank or, like, lower end of the totem pole or have, like, a lot of
Wait a
expected
minute.
of
Are
them.
you saying you observed people who were treating people above them like they were entitled to not be below them? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
kind of what I mean.
Mhm.
And then they would like there were certain people that we worked with that because we were like a bit beneath them, they would really take advantage of that because we were the only ones beneath them. And they
Yeah.
really needed to
Yeah.
establish power
Yeah.
over someone. And it was like petty stuff that didn't even really matter.
Mm.
So it was like a small task that didn't matter became this big stressful drama because they didn't know where to place their anger at being at the bottom of the totem pole in their eyes. But at the same time, like every job is as important. Like you need people to tape the numbers on just as much as you need Jess to build a stage.
Mhm.
Like they're both equally important to getting the show running. So I just didn't understand why like that much pressure had to be put on us, especially only because like it was just so unneeded.
Yeah, it was just very clear to me that like this specific instance, like this person was not there to, in my opinion, necessarily to help and to be like a part of everything and to help Amanda and to help Stacy and to whatever it was to. There was very clearly like an agenda to eventually become one of the comics and whatever. And it's like not that there's anything, not
okay.
that there's anything wrong with that,
Mhm.
but it was just like. It's like if you're assigned to do a certain job, do your job well,
Mhm.
stay where you are.
Mhm.
Like if we can have an understanding of that, it's like I feel like other people can too.
Sure.
It's like it just bothered me for someone to want to lump themselves in with people who are who are just
Obviously
more
higher
important
than
than them
them.
in this instance. And it was like
Okay, so it was like
Yeah.
a lack of perspective,
yes,
perhaps.
yes. lack
And there
of
was like
perspective.
a pursuit of their own agenda before the collective agenda.
The greater
Yes,
good.
and like but the problem is when you're at a level like that, it's like your whole focus has to be the collective agenda.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like maybe if you're a comic, it's like it makes sense to look out for your own agenda a little bit.
Mhm.
But it's like
You're the one entertaining.
yeah,
Well, you're in
exactly.
production.
When it's your job
Yeah.
to make the production go smoothly, it's like you can't be looking out for yourself. But the thing that I'm happy about is that it was like a pretty isolated incident. And I feel like the reason why it bothered us so much was because it really stuck out because everyone else was so professional and
Yeah.
so like no one else treated us like that. No one else, even if they were above us, no one else talked down to us. No one else made us feel small.
No one else like attempted to put us in our place
Yeah.
because it was like,
Yeah,
well,
no
we
one
already
else-
know our place.
no one else
Why are you
exercised-
doing this?
Yeah, no one else exercised like unnecessary power over us.
Oh,
So-
how gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really gross.
I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, I kind of expected it to happen. Like just from talking to Peter and like a little bit, and then mostly talking to like Stacy and Amanda and Jess and Dad and you, like, and Lacey. Like, I just always kind of expected that there was going to be instances like that where maybe someone was angry in where they are in life now or something totally unrelated, and it was going to be taken out on us only because we're PAs. So and
Yeah.
we're like 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're whatever. But like I kind of expected it. I just in the way that it happened, it was just energy wasted.
Uh-huh.
I was
Yeah.
like, you do not have to re-explain the same thing 5 times. Instead, you
Mhm.
could be doing it
Yeah.
with us. And then we get the job done faster, and then we're all friends.
Yeah.
And that's how it was everywhere else, except
Mhm.
for these like isolated incidences.
Mhm.
Which and obviously it didn't ruin our experience at all.
Right.
It just
Not
gave
at
us
all.
something to talk about. But
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it was,
Right.
and it was a similar experience throughout, like everyone there. Like it wasn't
Yeah,
just us who had
for
experiences
sure.
like that, and it wasn't just one person.
Mhm. yeah, I mean, honestly, it served as a reminder to me of how professional everyone else was, because we didn't experience like backlash or anything from the people who like deserved to be mad at us or deserved to like, or the people that we would expect to like take energy out at us or like be mad at us. It's like we didn't get it from them. We got it from people who shouldn't be talking to us.
Right,
like that.
right. Yeah. That's really an interesting lesson, really. Is gosh, you guys learned a lot, I think, on this
We did.
tour.
We definitely did.
It's a great lesson. You know, how you treat people matters more than anything else. It matters more than even doing the job well.
Yeah.
To some extent.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are times when you have to get upset with someone if they don't do their job well, if you're their boss or if someone's really sleeping on the job or whatever. But for the most part, nothing really matters that much to make someone feel less than.
Yeah.
Nothing is important enough to make someone feel less than.
It's
and most
not.
of the time, it's a reflection on how they feel about themselves.
Yes, exactly.
This is insecurity. And, you know, sometimes the best way to deal with someone like that is to call them on it with kindness, is to not say, don't talk to me like that. Or, you know, don't act like I'm beneath you. But instead to say, you seem really stressed. Is everything okay? Is there something else I can help you with? Maybe I'm not understanding you because you seem to be really frustrated when you're talking to me. And then that will make them go, oh, I sound frustrated? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
A lot of times like that, simple shift in you will completely change them because it is a power struggle. So if you let them know, oh, yeah, you actually have no power.
Yeah.
How can I be helpful to you? So now I have taken the power and said, how can I help you? Then all of a sudden they'll go, oh, maybe I was being a jerk. Happens a lot, or it is at least for me. Maybe it's my accent.
I agree with that, but I also I kind of find it hard to start treating someone with respect.
Yes.
When
I didn't say it was easy.
No,
It
no,
was
I know.
very
What I'm saying
difficult.
is there was just in these instances, there was just a constant lack of respect for just just not obviously not who we were, but there was just a constant lack of respect in general, and that could go for towards us or towards that specific person or people, but it's just hard
So it
to
was a person's general attitude.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I just this is kind of selfish, but I just have no incentive to be kind to someone that's treating me with such disrespect. And
Yeah.
obviously I know
Yeah.
that's what you're
What would Jesus do?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Georgia and I feel like are the same in that way. Like we both, I guess, kind of like walled up against them because
Yeah.
it was way easier to do that than to I mean, my way of coping with it was I was probably a little snarky. I tried to have fun with it. I was like, I mean, we're here. I might as well just joke around a little bit. But yeah, it just was. It wasn't like it made a big difference in the experience.
Yeah.
But it reminded me that people like that do exist.
Oh, totally.
And
Not every workplace is perfect.
yes, yeah,
completely.
yeah.
And sometimes you may have to work with the person. You may have your dream job. And this one person comes in for 1 week a month that you have to deal with like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which I think was also a good balance, because I feel like if it was
Yes.
purely a positive experience, we would not have learned anything.
Yeah, and we
But,
learned how
yeah.
to. Sorry,
No, I don't care. Go.
we learned how to deal with people like that, and we did deal with it well. I mean, it's we didn't sit there and complain, and we didn't sit there. We didn't let ourselves be miserable just because this person wanted to exercise their power over us.
We also didn't feed into that.
Yeah.
There was no meeting fire with more gasoline and then more and more and more. We
no,
didn't
exactly. It's
feed
not like
into it to the point where it was just this huge problem.
Yeah, because
Right.
to us it was ridiculous, so we treated it
We were
like it was
seriously?
ridiculous.
Right.
We weren't gonna waste our energy being mad at this person because we knew that they had their own
Agenda.
their own
problem,
stuff
their own
going on.
stuff,
It's it's not worth it to get mad. I mean, but it was a good lesson to just be able to kind of if it's ridiculous, treat it like it's ridiculous. Oh, sorry, not worth your energy.
Move
And
on.
yeah,
just
exactly.
move on. Yeah.
And
Exactly.
just not pay any we probably did not think about any of those instances until they came up presently.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't even think about it until I don't know, we were going over our day and we were oh my god, and then
Yeah,
talking
exactly.
about the day, or because our mind was everywhere else and all the people that were treating us nicely, and our effort was put
Yeah.
towards them.
Right.
No energy was wasted on these incidences because we just decided it wasn't worth it.
Right.
We're like, there's no point in getting so overly upset about maybe 1 or 2 people that's making us upset when there are like 8 or 9 that are here to help us and make us happy and expect a lot from us so that we can in return make them happy.
Exactly. It made it a lot easier to not be mad about this situation, to have so many good people around, because it was just like, like Georgia said, it didn't seem like something we wanted to waste our energy on.
Right.
It just didn't seem worth it. It was like, why give this person the time of day when like I can go help out someone who's treating me well, who really needs it. And it's like, it's not worth being mad at at all. I mean, it's like, in principle, I guess we can be mad at it, but like it wasn't worth dwelling over and getting emotional or upset about or anything. It was just,
or like dreading to go to the next task with that person.
Exactly.
Like, we would obviously make fun of it, like, oh my God, guess what we have to do? But like, we wouldn't be serious, like killing ourselves over going to work for one person. Like, it's whatever. Literally, it
like didn't ruin our day or anything.
It just made it funny.
Yeah, we just kind of made fun of it a little.
Entertainment.
Like, Daisy, we just have to
exactly. Entertainment.
It's like entertainment.
Yeah, gave us a little lunch topic.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So would you do it again?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think it would be interesting to do it for a longer time too, because like, again, we were there for like 4 days.
I could have gone for longer. When we were leaving, I was like, I still have more gas.
Yeah, I was like, there's
I could keep going.
There's like so much more I felt like we could get out of it. So I would definitely want to do something like that again.
Well, I think next year is going to be 4 weeks in a row. Yeah. So I'm sure they'd be happy to have you back.
Oh, that's crazy.
Maybe you'll get promoted.
Oh, maybe.
Like chief inflatable operator. I don't know.
Project manager.
And some of the stuff we did, I was
project
like,
manager. Exactly.
like, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, I personally was very proud of you guys for jumping in because, I mean, Georgia knew half the people there, but you don't know anybody or really what this was about or what to expect. So that's a mark of someone who trusts themselves, who believes they can take care of themselves.
And trusts me a lot.
And trusts a friend and that makes you a trustworthy person.
It was so weird. I was like, Daisy, do you want to go on tour with my dad? She's like, yeah. I was like, okay, that was really
and done.
easy.
Yeah. That's all I needed.
Yeah.
No, literally anything. I'm like, Daisy, do you want to do this? Yes. I'm like, okay. Okay, let's just go.
But what a great spirit of let's just do it.
Yeah.
That's a great quality. To know that about yourselves, that's really, it's kind of unique.
Yeah, I mean, it's like,
know?
I as little as I knew about it, it's like, I feel like that's what made it more exciting too. It's like, I don't know what I'm going to get out of this.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like, I'd rather regret something I did than something I didn't do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and it was worth it. It's like, it was 4 days. I didn't think anything bad was going to happen,
No.
It was just, it was
I would
fun.
never have invited you or let her go if anything bad. I was like, let them touch one of these girls.
Yeah.
Amanda, Jess, and Stacy will rip balls off people.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my God,
they will be dead, bleeding in the gutter.
Yeah.
No one's touching them. I had no hesitation about your safety at all. I did give Georgia a speech. Like, if anybody's giving you any riffraff or any trouble, talk to one of those 3 women and it will be over. They will be fired because not just because you're Bert's daughter, but because that behavior can't exist in the environment, period.
Yeah.
There were some instances like that, but it was like, well, there was one, but like, I told Amanda, it was just like this random guy at the Cubs stadium, and he was just like, it was weird. It wasn't like,
was it a fan?
No, it was a guy working there.
Oh.
And he was just like, he was just really
this.
weird, like just really weird. He was asking me all these like really personal questions. He was like, so what's it like about like dad? Like, I'm not gonna say obviously what he asked me, but like it was just kind of like, ew. I was like, this is gross. And I told Amanda, I was like, this guy's kind of weird. She was like, okay, well, if you see him, just walk the other direction. Because he was like, we were seeing him for 1 day, and I saw him like maybe twice.
Yeah.
And he was just weird twice, and then I didn't see him again, so it didn't really matter.
So it's okay.
But I was like,
I'm glad you told Amanda. That's good.
I did.
That's
I mean, Amanda, like, and all those women really made us feel like we could trust them.
Yeah.
Which
That's
was
awesome.
so, like, which was really important. Like, I really felt like if anything did happen, we could absolutely go to
Oh,
anyone.
yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Stacy
ladies.
saved me once.
She did?
I was Owen's mascot handler.
Oh, my God.
And I was walking around, oh my God, I was walking around like sweating, like in pajamas, like literally tie-dye shirt, black and white pants.
Oh
just
my God.
not, that's the kind of day it was. And I have like little walkie on, and I'm like following him around and whatever. And some guy comes up to me, literally holding like a shot in one hand and a beer in the other hand, and he's like, "I lost my friends." I was like, "Great, congratulations!" Like, I don't know, I don't know what you want me to
Thank
do
you
about
so
that.
much.
Yeah, and he was like, you're his handler. And like, it seems like small talk, but it's like, I've been a woman long enough to understand when small talk is just small talk, you know?
Yeah.
And Stacy happened to be there, just happened to be walking around, and she saw what I saw, and she beelined over. She's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And he walked away like almost immediately.
Right?
But yeah, but she saved me right away.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So last but not least, let's talk about Owen.
Owen.
How
Owen
adorable
was
is that
our
guy?
bestie.
Oh, I loved Owen.
Owen was the best.
He was just such like an interesting person to me. I was not expecting him at all.
Mhm.
And then like oh my God, we were his only friends for a minute. He was like,
Yeah.
I have no one else to talk to. And we just joked around. He was so fun. He was so sweet.
How old
He-
is he?
Like
24.
24.
I think.
Okay, yeah, I knew
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
But he like, oh my God, he was just so cool. He was like
Yes.
one of those people that you could just kind of like go up to and like sit for a minute and be like, oh my God, I need a break. And then you talk about nothing and then you keep doing your job and you're always
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah, no,
Like there was never an
yeah.
instance we were frustrated with him. 'Cause
No,
we were
not at
always
all.
happy.
it was just all calm, all fun. Like, it was just great. Like, it started as us doing stupid stuff like hanging signs around the venue and whatever.
Mhm.
And I don't know, he just was so much fun. Like, he talked about he was just the most interesting person like I've met.
Oh
He
my
was like-
God, yeah. I was like,
He's like, yeah, I was a professional mascot. We had the longest conversation one night about mascotting.
yeah.
I was like, give me all the mascot celebrities. And he told me some mascot facts. He told me about like, there was this one about like, some guy did some experiment on mascotters because like,
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
even
yeah.
know if
Why?
that's what
Because
they're
they
called.
breathe their own air for so long? Or
Yeah,
something?
like they
Oh my
lack
God.
oxygen, and apparently it's like oh my God,
It's like
what's it
one of the
called?
more difficult sports.
Yeah,
because
no,
you're
it
just,
is.
like
It
constantly
is.
running around in a big
Yeah,
suit.
it's like they're better at retaining oxygen, like 2 times better retaining oxygen than the average athlete
Oh my God.
because
Okay.
if they're in the suit. Isn't
Yeah.
that weird?
It's
so
And they have
weird.
special workouts. Did you know that?
No,
I didn't
mascot
know that.
workout?
Yeah, they have to like train to like be in that
It's like
suit.
Chloe Ting, 10-minute
Yeah,
abs.
yeah, like like Owen went around in that suit and he was like, "Oh man, I'm out of shape. Damn, I haven't worked out in this long." I'm like, "Oh," it's like I
That's
didn't realize
You're
crazy.
so
it was
bouncy. I
right.
was like, what do you mean
I
you're out of
know.
shape? Like, what's
He
going
was
on?
adorable in that mascot suit.
Yeah,
Oh, I
but
know.
honestly, like Owen's a really good example of like just how to be happy wherever you are.
Yes,
Like
yes.
going back to like the instances we experienced where there was a lot of disrespect, Owen never had that,
Mhm.
and he was on a very similar level as this said person, but like it's just like he was never unhappy with where he was in life.
Mhm.
Like he explained to us like what he was looking forward to, like in his like in what he wanted out of his career, but he didn't discount anything that he was learning now.
Mhm.
So he was like explaining why he went on tours, explaining why he loved to travel, explaining why he loved experiences like this. And he just always seemed so happy.
Yeah.
And he always wanted to make sure everyone else was happy. He was like an insanely hard worker.
Yeah.
He was never sitting still, always doing something,
Mhm.
always proactive. And he was just a great example of like how to be maybe lower on the totem pole than Stacy, but also like do an extreme amount of work and be totally happy and know that you're not going to be there forever.
Yeah.
Like this
Right.
is just a job, but
Well,
like
he was there for the experience. He didn't care
Yeah.
about like any implications that came along with it, which
Right.
is what I loved a lot about him, because like he was a very like he told us about just kind of like his general life career plan, and I really liked it because it was really experience oriented.
Mhm.
And we talked about how he didn't want to rush into a job that he wanted to be in for the rest of his life. It's
Mhm.
like he gave himself a chance to kind of jump from career to career, like see where things end up.
That's
And
great.
just from that mindset in life, it's like, because I feel like people tend to get stuck on one thing that they want to do in life and then spend their whole life trying to achieve it. But it's like, in reality, that's not always realistic.
Right.
Because
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
when you're 18 going into college, it's like you just don't know what life is going to be like. You have no idea. And it's like, it's interesting to me that more people don't just go with the flow and kind of see what happens, because it's like you're going to learn so many things that you didn't even realize you had to learn. It's like so much is going to happen. And it's like, I feel like it makes more sense to kind of just see where life takes you. There's no rush to be anywhere at any specific time at all. And that's what I really liked about Owen, was because he totally had that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
He totally just wanted to just kind of live his life and like allow himself to be young, allow himself to like just kind of see step by step where things were going. And I think it's like very rare, I guess, to find people who aren't who are like that now, I guess, from my experience. And it was just really interested because it's like, I'm kind of the same way. That's kind of the way that I want to live my life. So it was nice to talk to someone like that. And he's genuinely happy, like doing all of that stuff. And he's meeting so many cool people and having so many cool experiences. And it was like inspiring.
And like what we kind of learned from him was like, you know, some people like kind of take a job only to move up, but he is one of those people that takes the job to experience the job and then learn and use that knowledge that he learned, like, you know, working in that specific, you have to actually go to that environment to learn, and then he can apply that knowledge because he was there to actually moving forward in his career, instead of just like being miserable at not being where you want to be yet. And like, my friend is so much more successful. Okay, whatever. Because maybe in 10 years, your friend's not going to be more successful. And if you spent those 10 years, like actually learning and cultivating all this knowledge on how to progress forward, then in 10 years, you're going to be so much happier. Or just the same amount of happy that you were learning all this stuff. Like, I don't understand why you would waste time like hating an experience or resenting an experience because you're not where you hope to be. But then again, like that's why you're given so much time in life, is so that you can work towards who you want to be. And when you're who you want to be when you're 20, like you have another like 40 years minimum. So then what are you going to do after that? Like I
hope you have more than 40 years when you're 20. That was you're minimum. Only 60. That means TikTok, I've got like 8 more years. I'm dead.
No. He had such a cool understanding that like all of those labels, like career labels in life, don't really mean, they only mean as much as you allow them to.
That's right.
And he's very experience oriented rather than career oriented, which I feel like allows him to live a much more like enriched life.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
So he sounds like a really cool kid. I know I talked to him a few times on some Zoom meetings. God, he's just so positive. And just really wants to do and work and learn. That was my impression too. It's very cool to be around someone like that, because the environment I feel like we raise you guys in nowadays, society determines that you should be on this rat race to college even.
I was going to say that. Like the college process is so symbolic of that.
Is.
Like people don't even really go where they want to go. They go where it's popular.
That's
or like where it's really hard to get into, or like really high achieving. They don't actually look for what they want. Because, you know, like, oh, this school's looked down on, but this school I can get into with my 4.5 GPA, like whatever. Like, no, you go to things like college to experience college and learn.
Exactly.
And if it's not what's catering towards you, then why would you put yourself through that?
You know, you said something. It was probably a sophomore maybe. And I said, do you want to get a college counselor? I mean, how are you feeling about this? Because I knew you had to start kind of in your junior year, and I wanted to start trying to find one. And I was like, all these people are taking like AP classes. I don't need you to take an AP class. How do you feel about that? And you said to me, I just want to take classes of what I'm interested in. I don't want to worry about college while I'm in high school. I want to worry about high school when I'm in high school. I'll figure out college when I get to college. And I went, that's what I'm talking about. That's my girl. But that's not really the world you live in today. That's not. And I'm glad to hear that Owen kind of went, you know what? I'm going to swim sideways in the stream. You guys can swim upstream. I'm going to swim sideways. And, you know, sometimes I'll float down. And then I'll swim back up and I'll figure it out. You know how many jobs I've had? Oh my God. I've had so many jobs. And there's so many things that I've learned from each job that I apply to this job, or to the job of helping Bert with his career, or the job of dealing with all the merchandise for all his live shows. There's pieces of, I was a property manager for 10 years. There's pieces of that goes into merch. I sold Avon for a long time. There's pieces of that go into this, because you have to be friendly and nice and talk about anything and whatever. And you want to buy lipstick? Perfect. Let's do it. That's the way it works, you know? So then none of those experiences are invalid.
Oh, totally. And I feel like people kind of grow up thinking that it's like your whole life has to be aiming towards a certain goal and you
Yeah.
have to aim to become one thing. And it's like, you don't. You can do so much. Life is longer than you think in that sense.
That's
It's like,
right.
you can do so much in one lifetime, and like there shouldn't be a rush to achieve something just to achieve it.
No.
It's really important to like pay attention to the experiences that you're gonna have and like to be able to just go where life takes you and to be able to seize opportunities when they come to you
and enjoy them.
Yeah, it's like, don't close yourself off to opportunities just because you're set on this specific goal. It's like, it's not gonna help you. It's like staying open is really important.
It's very true. Staying open is the most important. My goal when I was in my mid-20s, I decided to change my goal for life. And I changed it to, my goal is to be happy. That's it.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? That could mean a lot of different things. It could mean I'm married. It could mean I'm single. But what about if I'm happy?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I mean, I'm a mom or I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
Just, am I happy?
Yeah.
So if you make your goal something like that is really achievable, then the rest of it starts falling into place.
Yes.
It just shows up. You know, if you, there's this saying that says, if you want to make God laugh, make a plan. Because there's already a plan in place, or maybe there's no plan.
Yeah.
But if you want to make God laugh, go ahead, make a plan, because it's probably not going to work out that way.
Yeah. And like, I feel like things work out for me when I'm able to like keep myself open. And I always try to have that type of mindset. I've always just kind of like been that type of, but I mean, college was a good example for me because I totally thought, I was like, I'm going to with my best friend Georgia, and we're gonna live the cutest, happiest lives ever, and we're gonna go camping in the forest, and it's gonna be the best thing ever.
God, that is actually exactly how she said it.
We're gonna go camping in the forest,
and that's gonna be that day ever. And we're gonna get a truck, and we're gonna get a tent.
Yeah. And we're making Pinterest boards about it, and it's gonna be so fun.
It's adorable.
And like it was cute to like have that, but like then kind of, you know, reality started to set in for me, and it's like slowly I realized that wasn't going to be an option for me. And it was upsetting to see like a plan like that kind of crumble, but it also taught me that it's like getting so attached to a plan like that when you really have no idea what's going to happen, it's just not healthy. So I decided I was going to open myself up to like different opportunities, see, I don't know, look in places for schools that I didn't think would suit me, or like that I had made assumptions about that I didn't, you know, think I would end up at. And I think I ended up going to the perfect school for me.
That's great.
Like I genuinely do believe that. Like I do believe that like the right thing happened for me. And it was just because I was able to like open myself up, get rid of any assumptions, let go of the plan that I had been holding on to, and like just understand that it's like, just because I'm not getting one experience doesn't mean that I'm not going to get a great experience.
That's right.
Else.
It's how'd you get to be so wise? How did you get to be so wise? Really? It's very, very wise. Why do you think that is? Have you always been like that?
I don't know.
Yes,
I don't know, I guess.
Well, you haven't known her whole life.
I have. I don't know what you're talking about.
I guess I'm very logical. I like to think things through. My first reaction to problems is like, how can I solve them? How can I like,
so would you say you're
look at
logical, or would you
things-
say you're pragmatic?
I don't know. I guess more pragmatic. Because I don't always adhere to like, you know, I'm not always super logical. But
I think my impression is that you're very pragmatic. And a pragmatic thinker, sometimes logic doesn't serve you.
Yeah.
Sometimes the things you do to get from A to B, to take those leaps of like, hey, I'm going to go on tour with my best friend. I don't know anybody. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why. It's not very
Logically,
logical.
that doesn't make
True.
sense.
But
That's
it's
true.
very pragmatic. It's
That's
very
very
like,
true.
nothing's going to happen. Everything's okay. I'm going to be good. Let's do it. I can handle this. I can
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah.
I think you're very pragmatic. So really great quality to have in life,
you.
because I think pragmatic people can be happy easily,
Yeah.
really easily.
Yeah. I've always been pretty positive, just because I've always I've always just been very good at finding positivity, but not deceiving myself into positivity.
Pollyanna.
You know? Yeah. Exactly.
So you're balanced. You're more balanced, more of a realist, perhaps. An optimistic realist.
Yeah.
How about that? You're a
Yeah.
hybrid.
Yeah.
I'm that way
Seems
too.
about right.
Why are you laughing? I'm an optimistic.
I'm a hybrid.
I'm a hybrid.
I am a griffin.
I am a griffin. I'm a phoenix
Oh yeah,
and a panther.
and a panther.
I'm a fanther.
A panther.
A fanfa. I'm a
I like it.
fanfa.
I like
Well,
Panther.
you guys have to go to a minion party, so we should wrap it up. But
Wait, we don't have to. There's more you want
yeah,
to talk
it's
about
okay.
on this tour.
well, I'll talk to you about whatever. I mean, we have a whole trip to Wedowie to talk about.
Oh my
So much
God.
fun that was.
That was so fun.
was
that
fun,
was
right?
so fun.
I loved that. It was just so nice. It was so nice. And again, I had no idea what to expect, but I was just like, oh my God, we're on this pretty lake. It was so nice. I mean, I just got to spend time with like my 3 closest friends, like hanging out at the lake,
Mhm.
doing really cool things every day. I got so tan, which was great. I loved it.
Awesome side effect.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just and oh my God,
Oh, yeah.
eating amazing food every day.
Yeah, that's
Jesus.
some good
God.
That
food.
was so I
That
miss
was
it.
so
That
good.
was some good
To go
food.
home and I was like heating up chicken nuggets today, like tear rolling down my face.
You're like, this is not the same.
There's usually good food at this house. You're always welcome to come over.
Oh, there's always good food.
There's
here.
usually, not always.
So
but
yummy.
From my
usually.
experience, it's been always.
It's usually. Well, thank you so much for talking to me about all this. Is there anything you feel like we didn't talk about that we should?
I have no idea. I'm trying to think. I don't think so.
No.
I'm trying to think about like just the tour in general, and I just like can't think of anything like general that we didn't talk about.
Do you know what you're getting paid?
No,
No.
no one has told us.
Do you know?
Yes, I
Oh my
do.
Can you tell me?
God.
I know what you're getting
Okay,
paid.
tell
You
us.
are?
I'm not telling you on the podcast.
Wait, how
Well,
much
someone
are you-
might rob
Is it a
you.
lot?
They might go like, "Holy shit, where does she live? I'm taking her money."
Oh wait, is it a lot?
I think it's a lot. You know,
It's definitely gonna be a lot to compared to what I get it. So it's
you can thank your daddy.
I
for
know
that.
there were. Oh,
You can thank your daddy for your pay.
oh
So
my
I
God.
was gonna say there were many instances where they would give us jobs because other people were taking too long. So I thought that's what was getting us paid more. Where they would just be like, "They're taking too long. Do this." And we're like,
no, you
"Sure."
know what? He was really proud of you guys for jumping in and everybody. And he keeps saying, part of me thinks it's just because George is my daughter and Daisy's her friend. And part of me thinks it's true. They just did a really good job.
Mhm.
They just had a great attitude and did a really good job. So yeah, I'll tell you what you're making when we're off camera. But you should get paid probably tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah, tomorrow, the next day. The check will go out.
Yeah.
So very exciting.
I'm
Money.
so excited.
It was $50,000. No, not really.
Stop.
Per day.
Don't say that to me right now.
Per day.
Per day, per hour.
Have fun buying that Gucci bag, girls. $50,000 a day. No.
I'll buy more than a Gucci bag with that.
I'll buy college.
I will buy college. I will buy my school.
Well, thanks for talking to me about it. I'm really proud of you guys.
Thanks for
Of
having
course,
us.
It's a good conversation, and
Yeah.
it was a really amazing show. The one
It
show I
was.
saw, I was very
It was a
proud
great show.
of your dad for having this idea and seeing it to fruition.
Mhm.
It was his idea, and it was a great one.
It
So
was.
I'm glad
It
you
was
guys got to be a
fantastic.
part of it.
Oh, me too. I'm
Same.
so happy to have been a part
And
of
I
it.
would want to do it again.
Me
Good.
too.
Next year, summer job.
Summer job.
Have
Best summer
fun.
job ever.
Best summer job.
Seriously.
ever, right? It'll be more fun next year because you'll know more what you're doing and
True.
you'll know people coming back.
True. It'll be really
Aw.
fun. Very true.
Be like a reunion. Oh,
Oh, so sweet.
well, have fun at your minion party.
Thank you. Oh my
will.
God, we're gonna have so much fun.
It's
You
gonna
are
get turned.
So excited.
It's gonna be what?
Turned.
Turnt?
Like,
I thought you said it's gonna be a turd.
no.
I was like, I don't think so. I think it's gonna be pretty fun.
Oh my
Oh
god!
my God.
Also, kickback so funny.
Oh my God, it was hilarious.
Hungarian
It was
guy,
hilarious.
top tier comedy.
Why?
He
Oh my
broke a
gosh, he was
popsicle at
so
one point.
funny.
He was standing there with this like American flag popsicle because LOL 4th of July, and he was just like, "I broke it, I broke it."
And he's like, Charlie, can you fix it?
He goes, "Charlie, fix. How do you
Charlie-
fix
Charlie-
it?"
Wait,
Charlie-
how was the Hungarian guy there? Is he like
I
an
don't know.
exchange student or something?
No, he came for water polo. Like I think he.
Or are they
he's an ex-
hosting him?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's what it was. They're hosting him so he can
Ah.
compete like in water polo. But he was like, "I broke
Is he
my."
really tall?
No.
No.
Is he really thick? Is he like
Yeah.
thick?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
She was like, God,
I
he ate
broke my
so much food.
popsicle, and
like, I
Charlie just
broke it.
gave him another one.
No,
and then he broke that one. So I broke both of them. Charlie, fix it.
Charlie, he was like, Charlie, fix it. Charlie's like, I can't fix it. He's like, but why? It is broken.
And then at one point in the night, he was just like, all I want to do is watch Batman. And we were like, no one's going to do that. He was like,
So funny.
3-hour movie, put it on. And we were like, no.
There was so much he was experiencing for the first time. He was like, this doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense.
He was like, Charlie, what are the rules to the game again? And we were like,
What game were you playing?
we were playing, it was, I don't remember what it was called.
Spin
but
the
it was,
bottle?
No, definitely not. Spin the bottle. But it was a game with cards where you pulled a card and each card had like a different rule. So we had like a cheat sheet of rules for like
Yeah.
what each card meant. And he had the cheat sheet in front of him, but he just was like, he was like, Charlie, it does not make sense. It wasn't from before. And we were like, oh God.
It was
Well,
so
could you
funny.
imagine
It was
reading something
hilarious.
not in your
Oh
first
my God.
language?
That's
Yeah.
all I was
Trying
thinking
to
about.
figure
I
it
was
out.
like, imagine going to a kickback in like Italy where everyone's
I
speaking
know,
Italian.
the culture's different. The language
Yeah.
is different.
Everything
You
is
don't even know.
different.
Yeah.
And
The
like everyone's
popsicles are
laughing.
different.
The
I mean-
popsicles are different.
They're fragile.
I know,
We
we
got
were
to
making
experience
jokes.
4th of July, which I think is going to be an interesting
Interesting.
experience.
Yeah, right?
But we were
Like, what
laughing.
the
We were
hell?
like, of course he has American flag popsicles. He's like, we're hungry. And then like eats the popsicle. And then
You think he'll say Americans are so weird, so intense?
Probably.
Oh yeah, yeah.
No,
Charlie
yeah,
was
I
telling us that
definitely agree.
he wanted to take him out to like a cowboy thing, like some cowboy whatever, and he's
What?
like, I do not want to go to the cowboy club. That's too American. I'm stupid.
It was so funny.
It's
And,
too
like,
American.
watching this guy, like watching Charlie interact with him was so funny.
Oh, it was.
Because like there were just some guys.
Wait,
that
is
just-
Charlie's family hosting him?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So there were just some guys that would just like treat him like their younger brother. They'd be like, look, this is how we do this game. This is how we do this. This is how we do
Yeah,
this. And we were watching them like try and explain, and we were like, I didn't know guys could be like mama birds.
Oh, it
It's
was
kind of
so
creepy.
funny. Charlie would just sit there laughing at him. He'd be like, that's
Yeah.
funny. I'm like, go help him.
Yeah, we're like,
Go
he's
help.
struggling and he's alone. And he'd be like, no, it's funny to watch. We'd be like, no, it's not.
Come on,
Go.
buddy, let's go.
He's your like, I don't know. He's
Yeah.
your host. Like, go.
Your friend.
So you're glad you went to the kickback?
Oh my God,
Yeah.
so glad. And
Yeah,
Mom,
it
the
was
Uber
so
that picked us
funny.
up
Oh my
was
God.
so
So
funny. It's this
hilarious.
guy with, it was like, I guess because it's still Pride Month, he was like, I don't know, he was like in the mood. So he had like white hair and he had all these
Mullet.
disco
It was a
lights.
mullet.
Oh, a mullet. And all these like
Was it
rainbow,
a wig?
I
No,
think, I don't know.
it did not look.
I have
like a
no
wig.
idea. But like all these rainbow flashing lights and all this music. And like, you know, we asked like who it was for, and it was all like fine. Like we didn't get abducted, and it was like a 2-minute drive, but it was so
It was
fun.
so
We were
funny.
like, look at all these lights. And
Oh
he
my
was like
God.
kind of jamming out. He had like
Oh, he had great
fingerless
music.
gloves. He was like,
It was so funny.
Sounds
Every time we went,
adorable.
We were like, oh, I love this song.
he had like, it was like the Pride Nissan or something like that. It had like a name to it. It was like the party
It's so
Nissan
funny.
or something
I had
like
this
that.
old Russian guy Uber once take us to the party, actually.
Oh God.
And it was like me and my 2 other friends, and like we get in the car, and literally some old Russian guy, and we were like, okay, let's kind of like keep the party from when we get there, like let's be respectful. And first thing he does is like he offers us to play music, and like one of my friends just doesn't get the memo. She's not understanding where we are apparently, so she starts playing like all this party music.
Oh my God.
He turns it up all the way, opens the sunroof, literally starts sticking his hand
Oh
out
my
the top.
God.
Oh
And
my
he was like,
God.
and we were like, oh, we should probably turn it down like for when we get into their neighborhood. He was like, why? It is a party. We will play it louder.
Oh my God. There was one
was
Uber. It was
so
like an
funny.
Uber XL that I took with all the camper kids. And there was a guy and he had a disco ball.
Uh-huh.
And the disco ball was on and it was turning. And he would only play like Turkish or like maybe not Turkish. It was like Arabian remixes of popular songs. So he would play like Umbrella by Rihanna, but it was like a weird remix, and it would have all this like tambourine and like all these drums, and he blasted it, and it was from like downtown LA to like our house, and I was like, are you actually kidding me? And then he offered everyone gum, and Isla was like, that's definitely drugged. It's drugged, guys, don't take the gum. And it was like
Good old Isla.
it was like an unopened package. Isla was like, don't take that.
Old conspiracy
LSD
theory,
in that.
Isla.
I was like,
It's so
Isla,
funny.
No.
Conspiracy theory.
She is that way, isn't
That's
she?
hilarious.
my little nut.
She, Isla kind of fell in love with you in the most nice friend way on this trip to
Really?
Wedowee. Yep, when we took
That's
you
so
home,
sweet.
we got out of the car and she's like, I really like Daisy. I really like her.
Aw.
I said, I'm so glad that, of course, why would you not? But
Aw.
but it was nice that she said it out loud to me.
That's
and
really
Bert.
sweet.
It was very sweet.
Oh, that's so cute. When she was saying bye to me, she was like, I love spending time with you at the lake.
She
Which I
did.
thought was, oh my God. I love spending time with her. She's so hilarious and she's so fun to be around.
She's such
I
a
love
different
her.
breed. She's so entertaining. I love
She's
her.
a really
Her-
different breed. That's a very good way of putting that.
Mm-hmm.
And some of it, it's all perfect. There's nothing wrong at all. I wouldn't change a single thing about her. But sometimes I worry that can be very cautious with her friendship.
Mhm.
You know, she's very protective of her heart.
Mhm.
I think she got hurt in friendship. She gets really protective of herself. And I
well,
wish
she cares
would,
a lot about her friends. Like
Yeah,
her
she
friends
does
mean
very
a great
deeply.
deal to her. So I think that's why she's so protective of it.
that. And I think if she feels like a friend doesn't care for her the way that she cares for them, it breaks her heart a little bit.
Yeah.
And not everybody's the same. You know, you have to know that not everybody treats everybody the same.
Yeah.
So for her to say something like that to you and then get in the car and say something like that to me, it means something a bit different to me because I know that she doesn't say those things ever.
Oh.
Not ever. It's never light and it's never it's just never said. You know, so it was really kind of special.
Oh.
I think that lake trip was really special. It was special to me to watch the 6 and then 5 of you who aren't friends really
Mhm.
just become a group.
Yeah.
It's a testament to what great girls or people all 6 of you are.
Mhm.
That you can just go, yeah, we're just gonna all hang together.
Yeah.
You know,
It was very nice. There was nothing was awkward. It was all very easy. We all loved having each other around. Like we could all hang out, play
Yep.
games together. It was great.
There
I mean,
was no,
I loved being-
unnecessary power struggle. We all just
No, there
wanted to be
wasn't at
happy
all.
together.
very
Yeah.
true. And when you separated, nobody cared.
Nope.
Nobody
Yeah.
felt left out. Nobody.
Yeah, everyone was good. It just kind of
just
worked.
easy. It was
It was
really
nice.
easy. That really is again a testament to who you are as a person. Each individual that was there, who each person is a very secure person in who they are,
Mhm.
and has no drama, no agenda, no BS.
Yeah.
It's really special. My dad said, some people keep asking my dad, how was your trip? How was your trip? How was your trip? And he keeps, you know, this obviously is a joke. He's very jokey. You know,
Mhm.
Papa J now for a while. He goes,
Yeah.
you know, I spent 2 weeks, all women, just me and a house full of women. Not one fight, not one argument, not one bad moment.
Oh.
And he keeps saying, I keep telling people, I just can't get over how good all those girls were. Every single one of them was a pleasure.
Mhm.
And that's a really nice compliment.
That is very nice.
So
That's so sweet.
I know he's the sweetest guy ever. But he enjoyed having you guys so much. He loved it.
I loved being there. He was so sweet.
Yeah, he's very
He was,
sweet.
and he just loved like us being there, which
Yeah.
was really nice.
Yeah,
It
he
was
has
very
no
sweet.
agenda.
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
just
there
need
was
you
a
to-
All
photo
good.
of
Everyone was
him.
just happy to be there.
He was
There was
so
a photo of
happy.
him when he was younger, and it was sitting on my
Oh,
my
yeah.
bed.
Oh
And
my God.
our friend Ellie walked up and she goes, "Is that Jesus?" I was like, "No." She was like, "Who is this?" I was like, "That's my grandpa." She was like, "Oh, I thought it was Jesus."
Close.
I was like,
very close.
Very close, but no. She was like, "Don't tell anyone I told you that." Well,
well, now everybody knows.
Oh, wow.
Oh, well, no, Jesus is not my dad.
No. Hey, it's pretty close.
I was like, very close.
He's pretty
Very
great, but
similar.
I don't know.
And then
All
I was
right.
like, he's lost a substantial amount of hair since that
Yes,
photo.
and
so-
all of his hair is white now. But
Yeah,
Mhm.
and very
Whatever.
prickly.
he was
but-
actually very handsome. He was voted like most handsome boy in his high school.
Oh my
Oh
God.
my
Really?
God.
Yes,
was a
he was
catch.
very
Yes,
handsome. He had a
Sade.
head full of black hair. He was he looked kind of like Elvis.
Really?
Yeah, he looked a little
Elvis.
bit like Elvis when he was younger.
Oh my
He's very
God. That's
handsome, very
hilarious.
handsome guy.
Aw.
He had some ladies after him. So
Oh my goodness.
he's adorable. Not, he's just Papa J now. I think he likes that position. I think it always made
Yeah.
him very nervous that he was a
Oh,
handsome
I can
guy.
totally
Really?
see
I think
It
that.
made him very uncomfortable. Yeah. He had to he knew he was being voted best looking, and he was also like voted FFA King, Future Farmers of America King. So I guess there was some dance where the FHA, Future Homemakers of America, which was the women version. Remember, this is the 60s, 1960s of the Future Farmers. So there's a queen and a king, and he had to dance, and he was a disaster. He knew he was going to have to do this disaster. So my Aunt Carol taught him how to dance right before the dance. So he
That
wanted
is
to
so
dance with the
sweet.
queen.
That is
And
so
then I was on
sweet.
homecoming court when I was a senior, and I asked him to be my date because my date was playing football, and they wouldn't let the football players come and escort anybody on the court. So I asked my dad to be the date. And in my picture, he was so nervous. He sweat completely through his sport coat. Like the whole outline, he just sweated completely, huge pit stains in his little sport coat. He was a wreck. And he said,
so sweet.
you know, I'm not taking you to the dance. I'm not dancing with you. I will not be dancing.
Oh.
And when we got married, he got so nervous that he was going to have to dance with me that he left. He left the reception.
Are you
Oh my
serious?
Was like, see ya. Let me know when the dance part's over. Came back like 30 minutes later to make sure he did not have to. So I didn't get to dance with him at my wedding.
Oh my God.
I was like, oh, well.
Oh my God.
I guess I'm on my own.
Jimmy.
I'll dance by
That
myself.
is hilarious. Oh my God.
He's a dancephobia, I guess.
I can tell.
Dancephobic.
That's crazy.
Phobic.
That's so funny.
Anyway, okay. Well, have fun at Minion Party. Thank you for doing this.
Of
If you ever want to talk about anything else, let me know. I'm always open for guests and topics.
Oh,
Okay.
Something on your mind.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for having us. It's great.
Oh, I loved having
It
you
was
guys.
lovely.
All right.
Bye, Mom.
Bye.